bright morning, sir. Bright morning, everyone. My name is Renly B. Alarcon, B Scrim 4A, and we're going to talk about Rule 117 of the Rules of Court entitled Motion to Quash. As for Section 1, time to move to quash. At any time before entering his plea, the accused may move to quash the complaint or information. Section 2, form and contents. The motion to quash shall be in writing, signed by the accused or his counsel, and shall distinctly specify its factual and legal grounds. The court shall consider no ground other than those stated in the motion, except lack of jurisdiction over the case charged. Section 3. The grounds. The accused may move to quash the complaint or information on any of the following grounds. A. The facts charged do not constitute an offense. B. The court trying the case has no jurisdiction over the offense charged. C. The court trying the case has no jurisdiction over the person of the accused. D. The officer who filed the information had no authority to do so. And E. That it does not conform substantially to the prescribed form. F. That more than one offense is charged except when a single punishment for various offenses is prescribed by law. G. That a criminal action or liability has been extinguished. H. That it contains affirmation which, if true, would constitute a legal excuse or justification. And lastly, I. That the accused has been previously convicted or acquitted of the offense charged, or the case against him was dismissed or otherwise terminated without his express consent. Amendment of the complaint or information. If the motion to quash is based on the alleged defect of the complaint or information which can be cured by amendment, the court shall order that an amendment be made. If it is based on the ground that the facts charged do not constitute an offense, the prosecution shall be given by the court an opportunity to correct the defect by amendment. The motion shall be granted if the prosecution fails to make the amendment, or the complaint or information still suffers from the same defect despite the amendment. Section 5. The effect of sustaining the motion to quash. If the motion to quash is sustained, the court may order that another complaint or information be filed except as provided in Section 6 of this rule. If the order is made, the accused, if in custody, shall not be discharged unless admitted to bail. If no order is made or having been made, no new information is filed within the time specified in order within such further time as the court may allow for good cause. The accused, if in custody, shall be discharged unless he is also in custody for another charge. Section 6. Order sustaining the motion to quash not a bar to another prosecution, exception. An order sustaining the motion to quash is not a bar to another prosecution for the same offense unless the motion was based on the grounds specified in Section 3G and I of this rule. Section 7. Former conviction or acquitted or double jeopardy when an accused has been convicted or acquitted or the case against him dismissed or otherwise terminated without his express consent by a court of competent jurisdiction upon valid complaint or information or other formal charge sufficient in the form and substance to sustain a conviction, and after the accused has pleaded to the charge, the conviction or acquittal of the accused or the dismissal of the case shall not be barred to another prosecution for the offense charged, or for any attempt to commit the same or frustration thereof, or for any offense which necessarily includes or is necessarily included in the offense charged in the former complaint or information. However, the conviction of the accused shall not bar another prosecution for an offense which necessarily includes the offense charged in the former complaint or information, under the following circumstances. A. The graver offense developed due to supervising facts arising from the same act or omission constituting the former charge. B. The facts constituting the graver charge became known or were discovered only after a plea was entered in the former complaint or information. C. The plea of guilty or to the lesser offense was made without the consent of the prosecutor and the offended party, except as provided in Section 10F of the Rule 116. In any of the foregoing cases where the accused satisfies or serves in a whole or in part of judgment, he shall be credited with the same in the event of conviction for a graver offense. Section 8. Provisional dismissal. A case shall not be provisionally dismissed except with the express consent of the accused and with notice to the offended party. The provisional dismissal of offense, punishable by imprisonment not exceeding 6 years, or a fine in any amount, or both, shall become permanent 1 year after issuance of the order without the necessary having been revived with respect to the offense, punishable by imprisonment of more than 6 years. Their provisional dismissal shall become permanent to 2 years after issuance of the order without the case having been revived. Section 9. Failure to move quash or to allege any ground thereof. The failure of the accused to assert any grounds of motion to quash before he pleads the complaint or information, either because he did not file a motion to quash or failed to allege the same in the said motion, shall be deemed a waiver of any objection based on the grounds provided for in paragraph A, B, and G. And that's all. Thank you.